Hey, welcome. Welcome to the webinar on boosting business income and cash flow by 200K per location without making additional sales or working harder. We're going to get started here in just a few moments. So get yourself ready, grab a comfortable seat, some water, etc. We're going to be sharing a lot of ideas that can be very important to your business today. So we want you to really focus on what we have to say, listen, take some notes. If you can hear me, please type in yes in the chat box so we know you're there. Okay, good. All right, well, you're here on time. I believe in rewarding people who arrive on time or early. I really love that. So it's time to start. Let's get started. So we're talking about how to boost business income and cash flow by 200K per location without making additional sales or working harder. So who is this webinar for? You've landed here, but let's just talk about who it's actually for. Well, if you own or manage a business, then this is for you. And if you happen to own a commercial property, whether just as an investor, such as in being a real estate investor perhaps, or if you have property in a business, then this is for you. Of course, you also would want to boost profits and cash flow. That's obviously a reason why you're here. So all of those things being true, then this webinar is for you. In addition, let's look at some types of businesses that are excellent candidates for big savings. Manufacturers and developers of new products and services, that's one of the top types of industries or companies that can benefit from what we're talking about today, but certainly not the only one. Again, commercial property owners, that could be hotels, for example, or hospitals, funeral homes, medical facilities, apartment owners, multifamily housing, definitely big opportunities there. Also in automotive dealerships, there are many opportunities for big savings. Grocery stores also, and restaurants, all commercial property. In addition, there are certain types of businesses that have certain expenses that present opportunities for significant savings. For example, if you have credit card sales of 300K or more annually, you have opportunities to save significant money without changing your current vendor, by the way. Also, workers' comp premiums. If you are paying 40K or more annually in workers' comp premiums, there are some big savings possible for you. If you have cell or wireless phone bills of over 1K per month, there are opportunities to save money. And if you have parcel shipping costs of 200K or more annually, when we're talking UPS and FedEx, there's opportunities here for you to save money. In addition, if you have energy costs, significant energy costs, 2K per month or more, there are some good possibilities there. Waste costs, you don't have to have any more than $1,000 a month, 1K per month, to be a candidate for savings. Also, if you hire a number of new employees per year, 10 or more, it could even be less in some cases, there are some significant tax savings opportunities for you. Now, who is the webinar not for? Well, if you do not own or manage a business or a commercial property, or you do not strongly influence someone who does, then the webinar is probably not for you. But if someone you care about does own or manage a business or commercial property, you may want to tell them about this webinar. Now, question for you. What would your life look like if you could boost your annual business income and cash flow by 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 or more in many cases per location? What would you do with those savings? What would you do in the business? What would you do in your personal life if that type of savings came into your business, into your life? And how would those savings impact your life? Who could you help with that? If these savings would be significant for you or someone you care about, now the rest of the webinar is certainly for you. So in less than an hour, we're going to show you how a big income and cash flow boost is possible for your business. How you can get money back on vendor payments you have already made. How you can cut business taxes whether you amend your tax return or not. And how you can get business tax credits even if you're not profitable now. Finally, how can you achieve these savings at no risk to you, no initial cash outlay, without extra work or more sales? That's what we'll be talking about. So in the next hour, you'll learn how you can easily restructure vendor accounts so you stop overpaying vendors. How you can get refunds on business insurance you paid even several years ago. And how you can have cost savings experts working for you on a pay for results only basis. We'll also look at why your current managers and staff can't do this for you, even if they want to, even if they try to. Why, in most cases, they simply can't do it. So what makes this webinar different? Well, there's nothing for sale here. There's just some good and helpful content that will give a shot of profit adrenaline to your business every month if you qualify. So why stick around? Well, as you can see from that picture off to the right, you may have the feeling and you may have the reality that that money is flying out of your business, flying out of the windows of your business every month, and you don't know how it's happening, where the losses are coming from, or why it's happening. You'll see how your vendors are taking advantage of you every month. You'll discover some new tax incentives available for your business, even if you just started your business. And finally, you'll know how to hang on to more of your hard-earned dollars. So questions here. Do you feel like one month your business income is high and the next it's dropped off and you're struggling to hit your income targets, your budget targets? Are your tax bills sucking up way too much of the profits you fought to earn? And are you and your people working too many hours, you're close to burnout, and you're wondering if the only way to hit your income goals is to work even harder? Have you paid staff or consultants month after month without getting the bottom line results you expected? Are your accounting people classifying your expenses properly, but they're finding few or no ways to actually cut expenses? Are your tax preparers getting your tax returns done on time, but not showing you how to keep the tax man at bay? Well, here's the good news. You can boost your profits and your cash or cash flow without working harder, without changing vendors, without investing more time and money, or hiring new staff, or even laying off staff, or making more sales, or changing your business practices, or even rewriting the tax code, if that's even possible. So what's the real problem with boosting profits and cash flow for your business? Well, I would assert, that you don't have the right people working in the right areas, in the right way, with the right tools, and the right knowledge and experience, working every month to save you money. I'm not saying you don't have good people working for you, but they know what they know and they don't know what they don't know. So what's in it for you in this webinar? Well, we're talking about maximizing cash flow by having a lower base of monthly expenses. We're talking about getting big reach-back expense refunds going back in many cases several years. We're talking about reducing your tax payments in 30 days or less in many cases, all perfectly legal, authorized by the IRS. We're talking about restructuring your vendor accounts for lowest cost to you and doing that without even changing your vendors. So what could you and your business do with higher profits and cash flow? Who else in your life would benefit if you have more cash coming into your business? What could you do in the business What could you do with those savings? Well, you may be interested in saving money and improving your cash flow, but why should you listen to me? Well, we have savings experts that have saved our clients over $350 million in the past 12 years. We're savings experts with many years of experience, and our team includes CPAs, attorneys, engineers, computer programmers, industry experts, auditors, and more. We use specialized tools and software that are geared to analyze reams of expenses and to spot overcharges and junk fees. We dig into many of your expenses deeper, harder, and faster than your AP people, your accounts payable people, your controller or your CPA, your CFO, to ferret out savings. We're not a one-trick pony. And again, it's not that your people aren't good. It's not that they don't want to save you money, and I'm sure in many cases they do. But there are some areas where saving money requires specialized knowledge. And 9 out of 10 companies can benefit from our services. Now, so my personal background, my name is Ted Eisensee. I am a CPA. I have also worked as an auditor, a CFO, a controller, and business owner. I have experience in multiple industries with companies ranging from startups to well over $500 million. And I'm focused now on bringing cost savings to small and medium-sized businesses with the right savings team for each business. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can save money, that you can improve profits, after-tax dollars, and cash flow. We'll start with tax returns. Big savings are possible there. All right, let's look at a business income tax example done in the old way. You close your books, you gather data for your tax return, you prepare your tax return, whether it's your staff or your outside preparer that's doing the work. You look for obvious deductions and credits. You complain about your taxes being too high, and guess what? You pay them anyway. What else can you do? Now, what's wrong with business as usual in doing tax returns? Well, look at the guy off to the right, tax preparer. Many tax preparers focus more on quantity than quality. That guy there probably has more than he can handle, so he's churning out the tax returns. And even though he wants to do a good job, probably does in most cases, he doesn't necessarily have the time to focus on quality as much as quantity. Another issue with tax preparers is they're often not experts in your industry or in specialized tax incentives. There are many, many elements to doing a tax return. Some of them are very difficult to do properly. The tax code is very complex and it changes every year. It's hard to keep up. And the typical CPAs are not experts in specialized tax incentives. Yes, some may be, but many, many are not. The other thing is, if your tax preparer prepares a specialized tax incentive, will it hold up to IRS audits? It doesn't do you any good if you take a deduction and it doesn't hold up. So let's look at the business income tax preparation done in a new way. Supplement your current tax preparer. Use experts in specialized tax incentives. And make sure their fees are reasonable based on the value they provide. And have them review not just the current year's taxes, but prior years as well, because there's a lot of opportunities to go back into the past and reclaim some of those taxes you've paid. Some key areas to review involve things such as cost segregation, which relates to accelerated depreciation or just proper depreciation, research and development credits, and hiring credits. And some of these research and development credits can be taken even if you're not currently profitable and even if you just started off in your business. That's something very new. So, do we suggest replacing your tax preparer? No. We, in our business, our team, we supplement them. We're not looking to replace any of your vendors, and that includes your tax preparers. You can stick with them if you think they're good, or you can find another one that might be better, but nevertheless, we supplement what they do. We do work closely with them. So whether you have a CPA or it's in-house staff, we will supplement their efforts because it's about teamwork. It's not about competition. It's a team sport saving you taxes. Now let's look at some specifics on ways that you can save income taxes and property taxes. I'll first talk about property taxes because those are something that may not be as difficult overall as income taxes, but property taxes do offer opportunities for savings. So we are able to look at whether you are being charged fairly with your property taxes, and we're able, with our knowledge and experience, to challenge the assessment of the value of your property and save very significant money on an annual basis. If we look at income taxes, many of the savings that we find relate to ownership of commercial property. So we look at all of the different ways that your commercial property can be analyzed, and we look for ways to save money in that. Specifically, one of the things that we do is something called cost segregation. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, but in terms of who qualifies for our work here, our analysis, if you have a commercial building or buildings that you've purchased, constructed, or renovated in the past 20 years for over $500,000, or if you pay property taxes in excess of $50,000, there are definitely opportunities for savings potentially available and most likely available for you. How much can you get? Well, the average tax savings that we find for our typical clients is $75,000 for every $1 million in the purchase price or the construction cost. You can see examples of some of the large companies and smaller companies that we have worked for. This is just a small sampling. But you don't have to be a large company to have very significant opportunities for saving. So let's talk about cost segregation. This relates to how you depreciate your commercial property. Typically, when a property is depreciated, it's not broken down into as many of its individual components as possible in order to qualify for very significant tax savings. For example, if you break down your building, your commercial property, into components such as site improvements, light fixtures, you see a lot of examples here on the slide, branch wiring, plumbing, flooring, millwork. I won't read them all, but you get a sense here that there are many elements to commercial properties. And the key here is that most of these elements are able to qualify for a shorter depreciation period. So by analyzing and documenting those elements, you're able to justify taking a accelerated depreciation or depreciation over a shorter period of years than if you did it on a more lump basis. The benefits to owners from cost segregation, well, increasing your cash flow is possible because you're minimizing your taxes. And the great thing here, again, is that you are able to go back several years if you haven't done this in the past, the cost segregation, and you are able to capture all of the depreciation that you missed in prior years, and you don't even have to amend your tax returns to do that. So having more money available frees up money for investments, for whatever you want to do. Some particular examples of clients that have done cost segregation with us and realized very significant benefits. A Korean grocery store chain realized savings of $3 million. A Comfort Suites realized savings of $630,000, and a Holiday Inn savings of $950,000. A manufacturing company that had property that it owned realized savings of $1 million, a convenience store, $73,000, and a dermatology office savings of $89,000. Now let's look at some additional type of tax incentives focused on manufacturing companies. So remember I mentioned before earlier in the webinar that manufacturers have quite a lot of opportunities for tax savings. So we take an in-depth analysis of specialized incentives for U.S.-based manufacturing firms. And you can see off to the right, this relates, manufacturing is very broad. That includes many types of industries: aerospace, agriculture, apparel, electrical engineering, job shops. I won't read them all, but obviously manufacturers are everywhere, just about. And so there are many opportunities across the country for savings here. And in terms of how large you have to be, well, companies that perform qualified activities with total U.S. payroll of over $500,000 have significant savings opportunities. The average tax savings is $20,000 to $40,000 per year for every $1 million in total company payroll. And companies may be eligible to receive or qualify for these credits going back 3 years, and as well as the current year. And of course they can carry forward as well. So benefits to owners from research and development credits, increasing cash flow, and there's a dollar for dollar tax reduction if we're talking credits as opposed to deductions. You also are able to get tax refunds on the prior years with interest given to you by the IRS. And again, you can carry forward unutilized credits for up to 20 years. The IRS definition of R&D is actually broader than many people realize. The traditional definition involved things such as inventing things. Some examples here that you see, whether it's from biotechnology, or something very technical. The current definition is much broader, and it relates to whether you have developed something new or you've improved something, whether it's a product, a process, a technique, a formula, developing software, inventing something. It could also be something that is technological in nature. Something could be a process that eliminates uncertainty, or involves a process or was derived from a process of experimentation. The qualified activities checklist, again, is pretty broad. So it involves things such as manufacturing, fabrication, engineering, new product and process development, developing new concepts. I won't read all the things we have on the slide there, but it involves many activities. And some case studies here of clients that have realized these savings through our work. An injection molding firm saved $230,000 in R&D tax credits. An adhesive manufacturer savings of $190,000. A civil engineering firm savings of $115,000. A parts manufacturer realized savings of $1 million. An engineering and design firm savings of $320,000, a job machine shop savings of $99,000. So we've been talking about tax credits, but let's talk about some other cost savings opportunities beyond taxes. All right, the old way of dealing with vendors. Well, you search for a vendor, whether you're doing it on your iPad or your tablet. You may look for references, you're checking Google, you're price shopping, etc. Finally, after that, you're selecting a vendor, you're going to set up a package of services, and unfortunately, like many people do, you set it and forget it, you go on to something else. You pay for those services, and if you're lucky, your accounting people, accounts payable, whoever, is going to question obvious errors. Finally, if you don't think you're getting a best deal, you may change vendors for a better deal. Now, there's a new way of dealing with vendors: trust but verify. Remember when Ronald Reagan said that in dealing with the Soviets? Well, it's not a bad thing to remember when you consider dealing with your vendors. So you select your vendor however it makes sense to you. Keep your existing vendors if you're happy with them, but use outside experts to optimize the structure of your vendor accounts. And then have those outside experts review your account monthly to spot errors and to get refunds. And then pay those experts only out of the savings and refunds they actually generate. Let's look at a particular example: credit card merchant fees. Many people, many companies are collecting from their clients via credit cards. And the problem is that credit card processing is very complex. There are hundreds of payment processing fees. There are layers of discount rates and surcharges. There's numerous processing options. There are many payment gateways, many ways to process that, and multiple payment processing entities. And the competition for business in credit cards is fierce. I'm sure you get calls rather frequently from people looking to have you switch. Well, we're not necessarily talking about having to make that switch. But in any case, competition is fierce and deceptive sales tactics abound. Overcharging and errors are common and they're often missed. So who should a merchant trust in selecting a credit card merchant fee company or in reviewing their bills? Should it be your sales rep who's selling those merchant services, who gets paid on commissions? Well, how we reduce your credit card merchant fees. Let's talk about that. Phase 1, we right-size your account plan and we place your merchant account on the correct plan type with the most competitive plan rate. And savings are immediately realized moving forward. Phase 2 is that we implement processing optimization, which means we correct future transactions to avoid downgrades to your account, so that even if your account has been optimized, we don't want the vendor, your credit card merchant processor, slowly changing this without you even noticing. So we audit and analyze credit card processing every month. We have software, tools, and experts that will secure the lowest possible card processing rate and will ensure accurate billing, which will help merchants reduce overall payment processing expenses. So you can continue using your existing merchant service provider, and we could work directly with the provider on your behalf. Our network of merchant services providers is immediately available if a merchant, you, chooses to obtain or switch your processing services. We're also a partner provider for the 2 largest payment gateways, which are Authorize.net and PayPal, and we offer wholesale pricing to merchants. So our team does have the experience and expertise to recommend payment processing improvements, including back office, accounting integration, e-commerce solutions, card present terminal and POS equipment, and payment gateway configuration and support. So our merchants realize an average savings of 21% on processing fees. That's without changing your current provider. I'll just show you a sample of a report that we provide on clients that we analyze, whose credit card fees we analyze. You can see that in this particular case, we had measurable savings in the statement period of $2,216, and that's based on net sales of $923,000. So multiplied times 12, we're talking over $25,000 in this particular case per year. Now, something that's very exciting is that in many states we can totally eliminate your credit card fees. And that's because something called zero cost credit processing is now allowed in many states. It is legal in many states, over half, I believe, right now. So we are able to provide zero cost credit card processing if that's something you want to do. And that certainly requires some discussion, and we're happy to do that. Now, another thing that we do is cut parcel shipping, small package shipping expenses, and specifically UPS and FedEx expenses. We're talking Brown here, and FedEx. So our freight audit service clients see up to 3% hard dollar savings in refunds and an additional 7% savings through cost savings analytics. We bill our clients monthly based on a percentage of the refunds we actually capture. The combined average savings are 10% of the freight charges. The way we do this is we have proprietary audit software which has been developed by industry experts. We download your shipping invoices from your vendors each week, and we secure refunds that are due to you. The service is risk-free, no outlay on your part. Another area where savings are possible is in workers' compensation insurance premiums. So our work comp audit identifies and recovers workers' compensation premium overcharges. We review the past 5 to 7 years of your classifications, the experience rating calculations, the premium audit calculations, and we find that over 70% of all companies have been or are currently overcharged for workers' comp premiums. The candidates for savings are companies with average workers' compensation premiums of $40,000 to $50,000 or above. If you have operations in more than one state, that increases the opportunity of recovering a refund. So the typical savings are 10 to 15% of your annual premium. So you could be talking, in the case of having $50,000 in premium, you could be talking easily $5,000 or more in savings. Other cost-saving services that we're not going to discuss in detail today, but they're important to mention, would be cell phone audits or wireless audits for companies with bills of $1,000 per month or more. Also, waste and recycling audits. If you've got expenses in that category of $1,000 or more per month, you're a candidate for savings. And finally, recoveries from class action claims. I'm not talking about filing an actual action, but filing for your share of an approved class action case. And depending upon your industry, there are often multiple types of claims that are available, and we do have a team that focuses on making sure that you're able to get your share. So our mission is to boost income and cash flow for small and medium-sized businesses. I want to emphasize we're not a one-trick pony. There are a number of services that we have to save money, and some we didn't even have time to discuss today. So in summary, we've discussed multiple ways we help clients save money in business expenses such as credit card merchant fees, partial shipping costs, we're talking FedEx and UPS, workers' comp insurance premiums, and other expenses such as cell and wireless bills, waste and recycling, and class action claims. We even have ways that we can save on your energy costs as well. Income taxes and property taxes, we talked in the beginning of the webinar, those are very significant, especially for businesses that have commercial properties. So what's next if you're interested in pursuing some of these cost savings opportunities for your business? Well, if the savings we've discussed would be significant for your business, you can sign up for a free savings strategy called No Obligation to You, and we'll see if you qualify for one or more of our savings services. It's quite likely you qualify for more than one. There is an application that's required. The application is very easy. Again, there's no obligation on your part. There's no risk. If you qualify for savings service, we do the work if you want us to. We share in the savings, and we just need you to authorize us to work on your behalf after the savings strategy if you choose to engage us. So to move ahead with booking a savings strategy call, you just click below http://meetme.so/TEDISENSEE. I'll leave that on their screen there for a minute. You can click on that. We'll come back to it. But I want to see if we have some questions that we can answer right now. All right. So let's see. Okay, how much could my business save? Well, that really depends, as I indicated in the presentation, in some cases, the volume of your business and the types of expenses that you have. Also depends in some cases on whether you're profitable or not, if we're talking about some tax benefits. But our average client realizes $200K or more in savings in the initial year, but you can see from the property examples that in some cases savings were $1 million or more. Again, it depends on the size of your business, the volume of business, and the value of your property. How much do services cost? Well, our services vary, or our fees vary rather, from 10% of the savings we find up to 50%. It all depends on the type of service and the type of work that's involved on our part. Okay, how long does it take to get the savings back? Well, it really depends on how fast you move. We can move pretty fast, but depends on the service, how fast you move, and importantly, how fast you're able to provide us with the data that we need. Now, I want to mention also that because we work on a contingency basis, we really only want to work with clients who are serious about saving money, who will work with us to get the data that we need. Not that it's voluminous or anything, but the biggest key in what we do is getting the data from our clients. If you can get the data, we typically can save you money. So if that is you, if you are interested in saving money and you'd like to schedule a saving strategy call, just go to the link below and click that. You'll be able to fill out the application. It's not very long. And then you'll be able to schedule a call. The call takes about 20 minutes. Got that question? It depends again on a number of factors, but in many cases it's a little bit less than 20 minutes. In some cases it could be a little bit more. But the key point is that we want to take the time that we need, whether it's in one call or two, to find out where the savings opportunities are for your business so that you're able to realize those savings as soon as possible. So again, go to the link that you see on the screen, schedule a call. If you have any other questions, please put that in the chat box and we'll get back to you. And finally, I hope this has been helpful to you. We appreciate you attending the webinar. And we hope we've inspired you with some saving strategies to boost income and cash flow for your business. And I hope you take advantage of the opportunities if you do qualify. Finally, if someone you care about has a business that may benefit from our services, feel free to share our contact information. You can direct them, again, to that link to fill out an application. Our mission is to increase income and cash flow for small and medium-sized businesses so they and you have more freedom and ability to help people that they and you care about. Contact information is below. The quickest way to get this moving for you and your business is click on the link to fill out an application. So again, thanks for attending and look forward to working with those of you who are serious about saving money and improving your cash flow in a very significant way.